Hi, my fellow Soul Sparks. Thank you for returning to the channel. This is where the fun is going to begin because, as I said to you yesterday in one of the introduction videos, I've been told by the angels that I'm just going to channel whatever is coming up. So I am going to ask you to please be patient. If there are any pauses in between, it's just because I'm waiting for the next information to come to me and to take it from there. As you know, I wish to assist you with anything in your life. I would like to just give you some examples dealing with narcissistic people. That was one of my biggest problems. Where does compassion and love stop, and where do you put your foot down to also be counted and seen as a human being without being selfish and ego-based driven? Grief. Unfortunately, I have been in contact with a lot of people with cancer. And this is the last time I'm going to say that word on this channel, because I truly believe that what comes out of your mouth carries a lot of weight. And the more you use certain words, the more you give that a grip in your life. So I never refer to cancer as cancer. I refer to it as the C word. Okay, because I myself am a breast cancer survivor, and I thank Source and my angels and my guides for pulling me through that, standing by me and teaching me the valuable lessons that I had to learn going through that process. Unfortunately, that happened very, very shortly after one of my soulmates, my anchor, the biggest loves of my life, my dad, passed away, which made me very numb. And I basically went through that whole process not really being there, being absent. Trying to come to terms with grief and trying to stay alive, or actually at one stage I actually wanted to give up living. And that I will talk about at a later stage, because I think that's where my gifts really, really became big, huge to me. So, as you know, in the previous video, I said I was going to discuss narcissism, okay, and narcissistic people. And if you talk about a pandemic, I think that narcissism at this stage is a bigger pandemic than COVID ever was. And it doesn't, like COVID, destroy lives. It destroys souls. And I think that the children of today are being raised so selfishly and have such... You're so careful in what you say to them when it comes to religion and to spiritual stuff, because the society, as most of the society, think it's okay to just be atheist and not care about anything or anybody. I don't know, I was a big gamer. I still play some games every now and again, even if I think my age has now passed for doing those things. That toxic environment of those children with each other, it is insane. And I mean, once I played a game and this kid was absolutely just unacceptably rude to everybody and toxic and climbing into people's personalities and intelligence. And I said, you know what, this is not acceptable. This is just not acceptable. I opened my mouth and then came back. You old woman, just get off, go do something else. Don't play because you can't play. And I said, you know, that's not the way that you should react. So, yes, I think this is all about guidance. Guidance to actually stand up against it. But not in a way to hurt somebody. That's the thing. What empaths tend to do, especially if they're fiery empaths, passionate empaths like me, is there's two ways of dealing with this. Is the one way is go into your shell, remove yourself from society, and be comfortable with yourself but feel cut off. Or you retaliate and you do exactly the same thing as that person does. Instead of lovingly guiding them to show them that that type of behavior is not acceptable to you. Now, to give you an idea of my history with narcissism, let's start with, I had a grandmother that was an absolute narcissist and believed in favoritism. I had a mother who was an absolute narcissist and believed in favoritism. I have a sister that's a narcissist. I have cousins who are narcissists. I had an ex-husband who was a narcissist. These people are not capable of love unless they seek the help and they acknowledge that they have a problem. They have a psychological problem. And they tend to make empaths, light workers, starseeds, everybody who has awakened, run back to our shells and not stand up. In my spiritual journey, I was a very staunch Christian believer. But if you listen to my introductional videos, you will hear that I feel source. Me, you, we're all connected. And I think the biggest pain that I feel is, and I'm just going to say sparks, instead of every time rambling off light workers or spiritual leaders, or a lot of them are also wrong because they don't come from a space of let's fix each other, let's fix the world, let's fix our environment, let's raise our vibration. Because if the vibration changes and we shift that whole equilibrium to the other side, from negative to positive, if we do not engage with things that are not right, if we have a moral compass of what is right towards other people and what isn't, these scales are going to be tipped. But one of the biggest laws of the universe is balance. Balance. Where there's positive, there's got to be negative. Where there's light, there's got to be dark. So there's always a polarity. And these things have to balance. And if you look at a scale in your mind's eye at the moment, And you take the low vibration and the negative vibrations and self-love and ego and narcissism on the right hand, and you put love, consideration, compassion, moral compass on the left side, which way do you think the scales are going to tip? Of course to the right. The negativity is overflowing. Gaia is being suffocated. Mother Earth is being suffocated by the negativity. As I said, I'm going to remain anonymous because of all the personal stuff that I'm going to talk about to bring things into perspective for all of you. Sorry, I had to pause there for a second because I am still suffering from post-COVID. I also have fibromyalgia. And so I have to cough every now and again. So yes, it's suffocated by the negativity that's around us. Now, what I've been struggling with until this morning is, when do you stand up and how do you stand up and should you stand up? Because that's not love. And the forgiveness part, that was so complicated to me. How do you forgive certain actions? So I've compartmentalized that. That's what the message that came to me this morning. On the one hand, you can forgive, but you don't have to forget. And you can forgive, but you don't have to stay quiet. You can speak your piece. Most of us, and I'm talking about tarot readers, psychics, witches, everybody that is within a certain spiritual realm has in the past and in past lives always been ridiculed and persecuted and killed for their beliefs. We're fortunate enough to live in a time where we can tip this. We can speak up because we will not be, in most countries, be persecuted for our beliefs. So it is time for us to stand up. It is time for us to raise our vibration. How do we do this with narcissists? We try and get them to acknowledge that they have a problem. If they don't, walk away. Walk away. Even, as was in my case, if it's the father of your children. Because that is many years of your life that you try, and they are so charming and so nice to you to catch you in that web. And you truly believe they care about you. But as time goes by, you just realize that there's only one person in their lives, and that's themselves. And that is unhealthy egoism and narcissism. If you stand up for yourself and for your beliefs, and you open yourself up for criticism, which all empaths do, we even feel it. We feel that somebody criticizes us before they even open their mouths. What I'm saying to you is, the soul community has been stuck on, we shouldn't open our mouths, we shouldn't fight, and we shouldn't, it must all be in love. Now, if you love somebody, you must also be able to tell them when they're wrong, to help them. If they're not on a spiritual journey, tell them. Just go and read up. Just go and do the research. Humanity is on the wrong path. COVID has opened up a lot of people's eyes to that. But the problem is, most people have been raised, and it's in their fundamental being to be self-involved, just to care about themselves. How many of us don't even know our neighbors? And we've stayed next to them for 15 years. Our kids don't play together anymore. It's a sick society. And it's time for us to stand up. I don't want to make these videos, these videos, as you can see, I'm also going to repeat a lot of the stuff that's just on the video, because I don't have the time to sit and bring in new content all the time. To me, it's more important to bring the message across to you. So, I don't want to make these too long. Narcissism, I'm going to deal with in much more detail. The C word, I'm going to deal with in much more detail. Grief. Grief has taken 11 years of my life. And I've just gone through the dark night of the soul. And I can now say, honestly say, that I'm not grief-stricken anymore. I see the light again. I see love again. I laugh again. I really laugh again. And that's what I want to help you with. So please comment if there is something that you're struggling with right now. I would love to help you. And as I said in my previous videos, and I mean, I'm just starting the channel, so the chances that I'm going to channel your message if you leave me a comment is very, very big. So please leave a comment if you need help. If you're like me, psychologists don't really help me because I feel them and they just sit there. They don't really tell you anything. And they give you homework. Homework to do what? They're not guiding. And yes, there are places where they need it. But I think the psychologists are also oversighting everything and everybody. And not turning their attentions to the important things. So, I want to be here for you to channel the messages from source to help you with your situation. And the way that I do that is they bring it into perspective, into something that I've experienced already or gone through already. So please, I invite you to ask source. Here's your chance. Thank you so much for returning. I really, really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can reach as many people as possible with this message, and so I can help as many people as possible. And even if I just help one person and it spreads by word of mouth, that's already a step in the right direction. So thank you so much, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.